So we are discussing about the scraps in production planning module. So there are totally three types of scraps used in PP. That is component scrap, assembly scrap, and operation scrap. So component scrap means sometimes a particular component always consumed more during production process than planned one. So component scrap only applies to the one component, and once a component scrap is maintained, it increases the dependent requirements quantity of the component. And yesterday we discussed that component scrap is maintained at two levels. Okay, so one is the component scrap can be maintained in the metal master in MRP for view in the subcomponent. Okay, so if you maintain at metal master level, what happens? So wherever we are using this material, this component scrap is being taken into consideration. So for whenever you are creating a production order, then the quantity can be increased automatically for the subcomponent if you click on the component tab. Now this is maintaining at metal master level. So normally we'll maintain it bill of material level, the component scrap. Okay. So yesterday we discussed, suppose if you maintain at metal master level, then what happens? So wherever we are going to use that component, the system will consider the component scrap because directly it is maintained at item level, that is metal master level. So we never maintain at metal master level. We maintain at BOM level. Now you go to the CS02. What is the CS02 means? Change bill of material. Enter the finished product. Plant. BOM usage. And let us say I will take alternative BOM 1. So let us say we will take alternative BOM 1. Press enter. Press enter. Select the line item of the subcomponent. Select the line item of the subcomponent and click on, at the top of the screen there is an option called item details. Click on that, at the top of the screen, item details. Then under basic data, now here you are able to see component scrap. So here we will maintain this component scrap, for example 5. Go back, select the second subcomponent, click on item details. So component scrap. So like this, we are going to maintain the scrap at BOM level. So what happens if you maintain at BOM level? So it will affect only for this finished material. So wherever you are using this finished material, there only the system is going to consider this component scrap. Finally save. Now go to create a production order. Enter the finished material, production plan, planning plant, and order type. Enter production target quantity. So in the case of component scrap, your finished requirement quantity will remain the same, 100 kgs only. It will not increases. If you click on this component overview, here you can observe your subcomponent requirement quantity has been increased. If the component scrap has maintained. Okay guys, in the interview they will ask you. In the component scrap what happens means, your requirement of the finished metal remains the same, wherein depending upon the component scrap percentage, the subcomponent requirement quantity will be increased. So depending upon the percentage you maintain, either 5% or 2% or 10%, whatever it is. So this is about the component scrap maintained either in the metal master or in the bill of material. Okay, fine. Now again I'll go to change BOM, finished material, plant, BOM usage and alternative BOM, and I'll remove all these component scrap for all the components. I'm not maintaining it now. See. So the next one is assembly scrap. Assembly scrap means what happens during the production. There will be some loss always due to various reasons, and as a result, this will get less output than the planned one. For example, if you plan or if you produce the target quantity of 100 kgs, we may get 19.5 kgs as a final output or yield. Now, to get the actual output as a planned one, okay, we need to increase the planned quantity by some percentage so that it will get the output as per the expectations. So for this, we use assembly scrap. So assembly scrap increases the order quantity of the header material and subsequently increases the order quantity of the corresponding subcomponent. This step is important. In the previous case, what happened guys? In the component scrap, your requirement of the finished metal remains the same, while your requirement of the subcomponents has been increased. But in this case, in the case of finished scrap, increases the order quantity of the header material. Header material means your finished material. As a result, subsequently it increases the order quantity of the corresponding components, that is your subcomponents. So the independent requirements of the material components also increase correspondingly. So here both increases because you are have maintained the scrap for finished material. So the finished material quantity has been increased. As a result, your subsequent components also will increase. This is an important intro question. And where the assembly scrap is maintained? In the MRP1 view in the material master for the finished material. So the assembly scrap is maintained in the MRP1 view in the material master for the finished component. So as a result, what happens when you create a production order, let us say for example for 100 kgs of the material, the system automatically converts into 105 kgs by taking your scrap percentage into consideration. Suppose if you enter 100 kgs, system will consider plus 105 kgs. So this is about the finished component scrap or assembly scrap. Now we'll go. Now go to the material master MM02. Enter the finished material. In the select views, I'm going to select MRP1 only. So you need to remember all these settings. They will ask in the interview where you will maintain for components, where you maintain for finished components for assemblies. Enter, enter plant and show. Press enter. Now observe carefully here. You have assembly scrap. Let us say I'll enter 5%. Save. Now to see the behavior, I'll go to create a production order. Enter finished material, production plan, planning plan, and order type. Now you just observe guys. How much you have entered? 100 kgs. Now you just observe when you press enter what happens, and also you just observe this scrap portion also what happens. When you press enter, at the bottom of the screen you can see the system is displaying the message. Order quantity 100 increased by 5 kgs due to scrap. Now see, again you press enter. You have entered 100 kgs, but system has taken 105 kgs. And beside that you can see how much it is scrap portion.
So is this assembly scrap or whatever scrap is this?
This is assembly scrap. That is nothing but your finished scrap, man.
Okay.
See, end component scrap, finished component scrap, final component scrap, or assembly scrap makes same sense. So you entered 100 kgs, wherein system has taken an extra 105 kgs, and it even displaying your scrap portion from the metal master you have entered. Okay. So what happened? Your final component material scrap quantity has been increased. Now, if you click on your component overview, will it increase or decrease?
Remains same.
No. This also increase. So 105 kgs, 105 kgs, 105 kgs. Okay. So this also increase because see your requirement of the finished material is 105 kgs. Okay. It will be more or equal, but not be less. Okay. Your requirement of the finished material is 105 kgs. So your component scrap also required as sorry, your component requirement also will be 105 kgs only. It cannot be 100. Okay.
Okay.
So in this case, the important point here is if the scrap is maintained for the finished material, subsequently your corresponding components requirements quantity also increases. There is a statement here. Listen carefully. Assembly scrap increases the order quantity of the header material. Header material means this is a header material at the top of screen. That is your finished material. And subsequently increases the order quantity of corresponding components. Corresponding components means that is your subcomponents. So like that. It automatically increases. Okay. So this is important. So again, if you remove it, then So remove this assembly scrap. Keep it as a blank. And I think we are not changed for this. Yeah. Now this is a now again we'll maintain for the finish component, because in the previous case it is displaying more for the component 3 because we have maintained even component scrap. Now again you maintain assembly scrap as 5%. Save. Now go to create a production order, enter the finished material, production plan, planning plan, and order type, enter the requirement quantity present. So your order quantity has changed to 105 kgs and it even displays scrap portion. Now click on this component overview. Now it displays properly. So in the previous case, it is displaying some extra for subcomponent 3 because I may maintain even component scrap. So this is the result. If your finished requirement quantity is 105 kgs means obviously your requirement as subcomponent also will changes. It cannot be 100 kgs. Okay. This component also taken into scrap percentage. Yeah. So this is about the finished component scrap. Now again you go back in MM02. I can remove that. Remove that assembly scrap. Don't maintain. So the third one is operation scrap. So at operation level, the scrap can be taken into consideration. So what happens if you maintain at operation scrap is, okay, suppose if you are creating a production order for 100 kgs of the material, in the operation overview, the system will subsequently reduces the requirement quantities for the next operations. So to whichever the operation you have maintained the scrap, for that it will display the operation quantity as 100, and for the next subsequent operations it will reduce us based upon the operation scrap what you maintain. So this is a difference. So that we'll see now. So this recursive BOM, automatic selection of the BOM in the production order that we have seen already. So next is we are going to see operation scrap. Okay. For operation scrap, you go to change routing CA02. For operation scrap, you go to the transaction code CA02. Enter the finished material plant. Enter the finished material and plant. Press enter. Press enter. Then the system displays all your operations. Lathe, drilling, slitting, painting, blah blah blah. Now in the first operation, control key, you have control key PP01. Double click on this control key PP01. double click on this control key PP01. Now see, system will take to the next screen. So here you scroll down, so carefully check it. Once you scroll down, now here you can see general data scrap in percentage. Let's say I'll maintain 10%. So this is maintained at operation scrap. So I maintain scrap percentage 10. So again I'll show guys. You'll go to change routing CA02. You enter the finished material and plant. Then you press enter. Now in which operation you want to maintain. So exactly at that operation level, you double click on the control key PP01. So system will display the screen. Scroll down. And here in the general data, there is option called scrap percentage. So I enter 10%. So now to see the behavior, I can go to create a production order. Enter the finished material, production plan, planning, plant, and order type. Press enter. Enter the finish requirement. It has been changed anything? No, 100 kgs. There is no scrap portion also. Now click on this component overview. Is there any change in your subcomponents requirement? No, it is same as per your BOM proposition. Now go back. Now click on the operation overview here. Click on the operation overview. So here the system displays the operations here. Operation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What are the operations you have maintained? Now you scroll down. Now you scroll it side. Now here you can see the operation content, how it is. For the first operation it is 100 kgs. For the remaining operations it's subsequently reduces. Okay. So there is a difference between the component scrap and operations. So in the operation scrap, if you create a production order for 100 kgs of the material, now if you go to the operation overview, so the system will reduce us the quantities for the subsequent operations. So normally it has to display equally, but you have maintained a scrap for that first operation. So that's the reason it is displaying of plus 100 plus 10 kgs of extra. So if you scrap, so here you can see scrap quantity. So to which operation you have maintained, exactly it will even displays the scrap quantity, how much it is. Now again you go back, change routing. In the first operation, double click on the control key. Again remove this operation scrap. Save. Now again go to create a production order. Enter the finished material, production plan, planning, plant and order type. Press enter. Enter 100 requirement quantity. Now if you click on operation overview, now this time you can see how much you have. So for all the operations it is 100 kg. So there is no scrap at all maintained. So like this you are going to maintain the scraps. It's different, they will ask you in the interview. Okay. So with this guys, we have completed the master data, material master, bill of material, work center, routing, production version. Okay. So with this we are done with the master data. Okay guys.
Okay.
So what about the status of your practice guys? All of you? Have you completed all these master data creations or still you are in the pending or how it is?
Still pending.
Where you are now? I think everybody has got the server access, right? Still there is a
Yeah.
pending.
No, we got the server access.
I got the server.
Yeah, plus. Don't forget to complete these topics, guys. Don't lag in the practice. Okay. Try to complete as early as possible and be regular in the practice and all. If you're lagging one class, it's okay, well and good. Suppose I'm discussing one topic, you are practicing in somewhere and all. So it will be really difficult in the next future classes also. Okay.
Okay.
Now we have seen the master datas. For all these master datas, we'll have the background settings to be maintained. Okay. So the next topic we are going to discuss is configuration settings for the master datas in PP. So this is the next topic. Okay. This we are going to see in the tomorrow class. So I am expecting you guys by tomorrow class you will complete all this creation of all these master datas. Please. Okay. Yeah, RK. Yeah, Naren. Naresh. Will you do
Okay.
it?
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, please, right. Please. Because tomorrow what we are going to discuss is also that is very, very important. The background settings for all these documents. That is for all these master datas. So tomorrow what we are going to discuss that is more important. Okay. So where you are practicing now? In which topic you are there? In the master data? Hello? Yeah, RK? Yeah, Naren?
Yeah.
Which topic you are practicing now? In the master data?
I'm doing on BOM bomb.
Bill of material. Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm still doing material handling.
Okay, 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 okay. Your SAP server is good, right? You got all the details.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, okay. Yeah, then do the practice now. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see the background settings for all these master data. Okay. After this configuration settings of the master
Okay.
data, so we'll go for next concept that is planning. So once you are go for planning, so that will be main topics we are going to see now. Okay. Of course, this master data is also important. Without master data, you cannot get. Okay. So you should be thorough in all these master data creations and all. where you will keep all these indicators. What happens if you maintain at material master? What happens if you maintain at particular level? So what is the difference? Where you will maintain? So you have to decide all these things. What is recursive BOM? What is a group BOM?